Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back from your break. I'm going to be really quick with introductions because John's already told me he's got a lot of stuff to cover today. So I'd like to welcome John Vincent, who's going to be talking to us about libraries and care experience young people. Take it away, John. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me. I've been to a couple of sessions already and I've really enjoyed them. So I hope everyone's going to enjoy this one too. So I'm going to talk about libraries and care experience young people. Um, I'll do a very quick bit about the language we use. Um, and I've been guilty of this myself in the past. So there's lots of ways in which not just libraries, but people working with young people often abbreviate them to something. So for a long time, they were talking about looked after children or even LAC. And it kind of humanizes them, but it also kind of implies that they're a kind of clump of people who are all very similar. And what I want to look at very briefly during this afternoon is how that's not the case. And we need to be really careful about the language. I came up with care experience young people in discussions with a whole lot of agencies and organizations that work with young people and with some young people themselves. So, sorry, this is terribly ambitious, as Darren's. Um, you'll get the slides, so you don't need to worry about them. I'm going to rattle through rather, but this is broadly what I'd like to try and cover. So I want to talk about who young people are, what we know and what we think we know, um, the impacts on their future lives, barriers to the use of libraries, and what can we do to start removing them, an emphasis on building partnerships, and then a very quick look at successful working and how we can develop that. So what do we know or think we know? And I've put that in because I started working around this whole area about 20, 25 years ago. And back then, whenever I ran a training course around supporting care experience young people, there was a general assumption that they were in care because they were, in heavy quotes, trouble. Um, and so I want to look a little bit at who they are, what we know. I'll start with numbers. Um, only that the numbers are increasing. They didn't last year, but in most years recently they have. So in England alone, we've got over 83,500, as they call them, children looked after. And I've got figures for Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland here too. In terms of Northern Ireland, it was the highest number recorded since 1995. And I think when we come on to looking at why young people might be taken into care, this begins to point up these figures. So why are they taken into care? And this running list is broadly in number order. So the most at the top and the least at the bottom, but they're all fairly high figures nevertheless. So why are young people and children taken into care? They're at risk of abuse or neglect. The family is dysfunctional, as children's services might call it. Absent parenting, which also includes young people who've arrived here um, as separated children. Again, what are often referred to as asylum-seeking children and young people, but organisations are increasingly calling them separated children as they're separated from their parents. Families in acute distress, a family where a child or a parent has illness or disability, families with low income, and then a very small number socially unacceptable behavior. And as I said at the beginning, it's interesting when you look at that because 20 years ago or so people assumed that was the main reason, and it isn't. And these numbers will shift. So, for example, with the cost of living crisis, we're seeing low income being more of an acute reason. So something that's going up the list, unfortunately. Okay. We also know that being in care has an impact on young people's future lives. And I'm sorry, this is a bit grim, but I think it's worth just emphasizing this because we can then see and start to see how libraries can begin to play a part in turning their lives around. So some of the impacts on their future lives. According to the House of Commons Education Committee, the educational data painted is a bleak picture. And I think they themselves say it's bleak. So because of interruptions to their education, maybe frequent moves, disruption at home, a whole range of reasons. And many young people actually just finishing schooling but not going any further. There are all sorts of reasons why the education future is bleak. Just some other facts and figures. Nearly 50% of young men, 21 and under, in prison are care experienced. So there's a correlation between being in care and ending up in prison. There are issues around substance misuse. There are key issues around loneliness. Again, just imagine it. So you're taken away from your family. You may be moved a long way from where you grew up. You may not actually have contact with friends that you'd had since you were a tiny child. That whole loneliness thing will just increase. When you leave care, although things are better than they were, what, 30 years ago or so, 35 years ago, nevertheless, we know still that there are occasions when young people, they reach leaving care age and they're just thrown out. Not quite as bad as it used to be with, a black bin bag with their belongings in it. But fairly close. And so homelessness is again a feature of young people who've been in care. Again, all that interruption and disruption may mean that they're digitally excluded. They may not have learnt digital skills. Where they're moving to may not have internet access and other access. There's a number of things in there. And finally, there's a correlation between being in care and having contact with the criminal justice system. So it's not like this for every young person who's been in care, and I want to emphasize that. But when you look broadly, these are some of the things that may well happen to young people who've been in care and when they actually leave care. So what are the barriers to the use of libraries? So the personal social ones. So given what we've already briefly covered with interruptions to schooling and education, they may have low literacy levels. The interrupted schooling may mean that they don't ever finish a particular course or particular year properly. They may well have health and mental health issues. So there's a number of personal and social issues that are in the background to this. There's the perception and awareness, which are actually are broader, obviously, than just for this group of young people. But that whole thing about libraries not being for us, I've done so many courses and talked to so many people, who say, "Oh, you have to be posh to use a library," and it's that kind of perception that the library is something that's just not ours. And also, sadly, still the misunderstanding that you have to pay to use a library. And I think it's that whole thing where media myths. Well, no, sorry, it's not quite myths. Media stories about libraries always seem to have some dreary story about, somebody's just found a book that they hadn't returned to the library, which should have been back 40 years ago, and they owe, 10 million pounds in fines or whatever it is, some nonsense story. And it's that whole thing where libraries are paying for something keeps coming into the popular view. There are environmental barriers, so not knowing where the library is, not understanding the layout, maybe the attitude of other library users and staff. And we know the last bit, less with library staff, but more with library users, is a common problem. If you have a whole range of disabilities, if you're neurodivergent, if you're queer, people may treat you differently. Other members of the public may feel it's fine to comment or, say things. Increasingly, I'm pleased to say that doesn't apply to library staff. And I think, library staff have a huge job to play in making sure that our library buildings are welcoming, safe, happy places where people can come and be in however they want to be within this. And then finally, in terms of barriers, what I'd call institutional barriers. So joining procedures, if you frequently move, how do you actually join the library? What happens when you go to another address? Charges may mount up, although increasingly, I'm pleased to say, libraries are more lenient and comfortable with not charging, and particularly not charging children and young people, which seems to me terrific. A lack of staff awareness, they just may not know quite what being in care means. Staff capacity, which is something we all grapple with. Opening hours, you might be able to get to the library after school, but in some cases that might just give you half an hour or so before the library shuts. So it's something our opening hours may be a barrier. Jargon's certainly a barrier. And digital exclusion. So if you actually don't know how to get onto the internet, for example, or how to look something up for yourself or access information digitally, that's all going to be a barrier to you using libraries successfully. So how do we start to remove some of these? There's a lot we can do, and there's a lot we have been doing. So I've keeping 20 years or so. I worked on the Paul Hamlin Foundation funded project back in 2004-5-ish, where we looked at what libraries were doing to support care experienced young people, and developed training and developed all sorts of approaches, and lots of library services. And I'm going to name check them because I just think they're brilliant. Leicestershire Public Libraries, for example, have continued and are still developing those approaches all these years later. What else could we do? We could provide training for staff and volunteers so that they're aware of the kinds of issues that young people who are in or have been in the care system might be facing. It's likely in your library that you will have care experienced young people coming in, but you may actually never know. So it's something around making sure that all our staff and volunteers are really aware of how to deal with young people, particularly in this case, carefully and appropriately. You could map what's provided in your area. Do you know around your library, for example, what kind of provision there is? Is there community-based provision? Are there children's homes in your area? How many foster carers are there? When you're in a university library, are there young people who are in care who are coming to the library? You may or may not know them, but you may also be working at your university with estranged young people, so young people who are separated from their family. And some universities, like the University of West of England, are actually linking young people who are estranged and young people who have been in care, and actually providing support and development opportunities for them. Creating a welcome for everybody. That's what we need to do. Finding ways of targeting care experienced young people and their families and carers without making it heavy-handed. So if you're organizing a summer activity, reading challenge or something, yes, promote it through the library, promote it through your community groups like you always do, but maybe also talk to any foster care groups or children's homes that may be in the area. Make sure they get invitations, make sure they know when events are going on, and just find those ways of ensuring that everything we do is inclusive to all the children and young people and their families in our area. Promoting access to IT, supporting care leavers, which is absolutely critical. Young people themselves often talk about reaching what they call the care cliff. And they've been in care, they've been supported up until, for example, they're 18, and then suddenly they leave care, and all those sort of frameworks that they had start to fall away. And it's something around what can we do to make sure that some of those frameworks remain in place, and how do we do it? And vitally, we need to build partnerships and find organizations, charities, and community groups to work with. And a prime example would be the local virtual school. So, you'll have a virtual school in your area. And the virtual school, if you haven't come across one, isn't a real building with real teachers in it. It's an online organization of support staff, including teachers, who will support young people and their families who are care experienced in the area. Down here in Devon, for example, there's a very lively virtual school that does a huge amount of work with both young people at school, but also people starting to leave the care system and supporting their families. So that would be a real connection to make to see if we can start removing barriers. And here, you will all have them as well. But here are some examples of successful working. So we might run a specific project. So, for example, in Swindon, the National Literacy Trust has a hub, and the trust and Swindon Public Libraries have been working together to develop literacy projects, um, targeting specifically care experienced children. Um, so that kind of is something very specific that somebody's doing, but you can also widen out your existing work to ensure that care experienced young people and their families know about it and feel welcome. As I said earlier, you're organizing an activity or an event or an open day. Have local young people in care and their families and carers found out about it? And how do they find out? Who can you connect with? Ensuring there's a linked up approach across a local authority. So this is increasingly happening, I'm really pleased to say, but making sure that all the different departments who might work with young people all work together and know what each other is providing. So knowing what the library offers, knowing what the library offer is, being able to spread the word for us. And I've come across some really terrific work where again, the virtual school staff have been promoting libraries across their students. And I just think it's a really positive way of making sure that the whole local authority understands the work that we're doing and what's going on. Libraries have been using a variety of different approaches too. Some have included drama, artwork, storytelling. It's ways of capturing an audience and making sure that young people engage, particularly if some of those barriers that we talked about earlier on that are very much in place. So having something that's dramatic or imaginative or can draw them in, or something that you can do in the library at home, in the community, wherever it is, a whole variety of approaches really begins to break down some of those barriers. And as I mentioned earlier, as in Swindon, a focus on literacy-related work works well too. I put this as a question in my last point. So, can my organisation do something? Um, I think there are libraries in different kinds of organisations who maybe think they can't, or don't have much to offer, or don't know what to do. And I've got a couple of examples here, just that are brilliant, I think. So I've mentioned University of West of England already. So UWE Cares is their initiative that works with estranged and care experienced young people. And if you've arrived at university and you're kind of isolated, they actually provide the route into things, the support, the networking, and it is actually a real care that they offer. And at UE, the care service that this UE Cares actually relates really strongly to the library. The Mirror project was an archives project, which had an enormous impact, looking particularly how young people, and indeed not so young people, who've left the care system can access their care records. I actually had the brilliant opportunity of meeting somebody who'd been part of the project and who gave a webinar for them, talking about her own experience where she had left care. Much of her record had been obliterated, so she found things where her records had been torn in half. So there was a page existing, but pages not. And she was still, I met her not that long ago, and she was into her, well, certainly beyond her 50s. In her 50s, she was still finding out things about her past that she'd not been told. And it's that whole idea that an archive has that really positive way of working that I think demonstrates what we can all do. Successful working too is more what we need to do, if I put it like that. So what we need to do, we need to share what we're doing. Um, and I'll do them all, and then I'll come back and explain why I'm going on at you about this. We need to share what we're doing. We need to spread the word about what we're doing. We need to write it up, and we can't assume that everyone else is doing whatever you're doing. The reason I'm saying all this is that 25 years ago, when I did the Paul Hamlyn Foundation project, there was a huge amount going on. In that period since then, a lot of that work has ceased. A lot of it was dependent on project funding, and there's a whole big question about project funding, which we haven't got time to do now. But it can be a bonus, but can also be quite negative. And one of the things about this project funding was that people committed to carrying on with the project once the funding had ceased, but then circumstances changed and they didn't. So we're in a position now where, yes, there are some library authorities like Leicestershire that I mentioned earlier, who are still working in the way that they did 20, 25 years ago, and have done all these things. They share, they spread, they write it up. But there's lots of people who aren't. So I've actually struggled when I've been gathering information for something I'll mention in a minute. I've struggled to find examples of some of the work. And I think we need to bear in mind that, yeah, you may be doing an absolutely brilliant piece of work in your library, wherever it is, but don't assume that everybody else knows about it and is doing something similar. So shout about it, spread the word about it, even if it sounds like something fairly basic. And that's the reason I've been digging into all of this again now. Sorry, I should have said this at the beginning. I think I rather conned my way into this conference because this was supposed to have come out in the spring. And the idea of this session was that it was going to celebrate the publication for a whole variety of reasons, primarily mine. The book's been delayed and is likely to be out now in the autumn. You can see what it looks like. Do look out for it when it does come to be published. It's going to capture, or has captured, a lot of the information that we've talked about this afternoon and does it in a lot more depth. And I want to finish by, just in case you missed who I am and what I do, um, I coordinate the network, which is a network of libraries, archives, museums, and galleries. That's the web address. That's me and my email address. I'm always happy to listen to, hear from, talk to people. So when this is over, if anybody does want to get in touch with me, please do. And I'll now stop screen sharing and hopefully bring us all together.
That was brilliant. Thank you, John. And particularly lots of, I think, really practical things that folks can do. Yeah, and your depth of experience in this area is, we've got so much we can learn from you. Um, I haven't seen any questions come up in the chat, although it's been very active. We have got a couple of minutes if anyone wants to raise their hand and ask a question, or if they want to quickly pop something into the chat. Can't see anything yet, but that's usually just the point when a question pops in.
Let me say one more thing then, if I
Please
might.
go ahead.
When I
Yeah.
mentioned the point about kind of shouting about what we're doing, I was interested. For my book, I did a kind of all the proper things like literature searches and stuff. There was a huge amount being written 20 years ago. There's almost nothing being written about this whole area of work now. And it's things have changed so much and libraries have changed so much. We really do need to get out there and start talking about any of this kind of work that we're doing and get it into journals, get it into any discussion fora, anything like that, because I just think it's really important.
I 100% agree.
Uh,
Yeah, if people are doing this, they should be shouting it from the rooftops that this is
yeah.
happening, so that we can learn from each other rather than all trying to reinvent ways of supporting complex groups of people. I haven't seen anything else come in, so I think what we'll do is I will stop the recording there.